Hey guys, what's up? It's Kahoob here. So I'm doing an AMA recap for Crypto.com. They did a live AMA the other night with Chris Marzalek. Basically, I'm just going to be going over the most important things on what they talked about and everything. So here's the first thing that they mentioned.
We're committed. We're growing faster, and we're committed to hitting 100 million user number next year. So
You hear that? 100 million user mark by the end of next year, so the end of 2022. If they actually do hit that, that's going to be really amazing, especially since, the more people who join Crypto.com, they're more likely to buy CRO. If you are a user of Crypto.com, most likely you own some amount of CRO, even if it's a small amount, like $400 worth, like for the Ruby Red. There's a lot of reasons you should own CRO if you're already using Crypto.com. So the next topic is basically just like the Crypto.org chain and like about projects on it and things like that.
we've got a few business lines. We've got the card business, right? We've got the chain. We've got the exchange. We've got now this brand new NFT business. So there's a lot of activity.
Yeah, they have a lot for them going on. Like, just keep on improving and adding more things to get more and more people involved with Crypto.com. It's pretty insane.
On all these fronts. I think one date that I'm looking forward to right now is May 20th. This is where Crypto.org chain is going to release the phase one of our roadmap to support the NFTs, the Canis major release. So look forward to this. This is the phase one. It's coming in a short 6 weeks from today. Yeah. And after this, the next big one is going to be the EVM, right, which will generate a lot of activity around chain, and a lot of projects are going to be launched. So I'm super bullish on this.
So yeah, May 20th is when the Crypto.org chain will actually launch phase one, and I have it right here, the Crypto.com intergalactic roadmap for Crypto.org chain. Phase 1, Canis Major, NFTs, on-chain NFT support. So this is coming May 20th. So this is pretty exciting news considering it's just 1 month away, like how he said, I think like 6 weeks from now. And so just be prepared for that. And then after that happens, he was talking about how phase 2 will then happen, which is interact with sidechain and execute ETH-based smart contracts. So the EVM on chain is basically just means projects will start being able to be developed on the CRO chain. So I saw some people asking whether or not projects are already on the Crypto.org chain, but no, they're not. And I think it's because we need phase 2 to roll around. This next one, Chris Marzalek says that debit cards will be available in Latin America, and eventually they're going to roll out these debit cards globally. And the more places where the debit card is available, we have to remember the debit cards are kind of a big thing that make people stake CRO. So I think a lot of people are going to stake at least for these 3 cards, probably more likely for these 2. But even if people just stake for like the Ruby Red, that's still a large market to hit, like Latin America and the Middle East. And let's say they all go for the Ruby Red and it's $400 worth of CRO. That'll definitely have a lot of buy pressure for CRO. So this next part, basically someone asked about the USD coin settlement with Visa and whether or not USDC will be running on the CRO chain. And this is basically his answer right here.
About Crypto.org chain. So the way it works for the settlement process is that we work with Anchorage Bank, and the settlement goes on chain into Anchorage Bank's wallets. So we are discussing with them integration with Crypto.org chain. So moving forward, after USDC is available on Crypto.org chain and on Anchorage is fully integrated with it, we'll be able to run this whole process on the chain. So it's very exciting.
That is exciting.
So as we know, Crypto.com did the settlement with Visa of USD coin, and now once USDC is available on the CRO chain, maybe Visa and Crypto.com will work together to have it fully be running on the CRO chain for USDC payments. So this one kind of goes right into about Apple Pay and Google Pay for EU, and also there's some great news you're going to hear in this for North America.
Okay, so moving on, when can we expect Google Pay and Apple Pay to be available on the card?
So again, just to clarify, US and Canada is already kind of live, and we're working super hard to enable this in other markets. And now that we've got virtual cards in Europe, of course, it will be super useful if you can just add it to Apple Pay and Google Pay. So it's a very high priority item, and it's coming. We need to work through this. And virtual cards are also on the way to the North American markets, so the users there will be able to enjoy it soon.
North American markets will have the virtual card pretty soon, so that can be like Canada, United States, and Mexico and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty great for people in the US, as the United States is a large market, and the fact we're going to have virtual cards, it's going to make people pretty much like a lot less angry at Crypto.com. For people who are waiting like months on months for their card, they might not recommend the card to other people, But if you're able to have a virtual card and then wait for your physical one for like a month or two or something, and then, I mean, at least you'll be able to use your virtual card. And if you have a virtual card you can instantly activate, you can also then add it to Google Pay or Apple Pay, at least in the United States. And another thing is people might not want to upgrade their card, or at least their physical card, because they don't want their current card to be deactivated and wait months for their new one to come in and basically miss out on reimbursements and stuff like that. But now with being able to have virtual cards, it's going to basically make it way better and easier for people to be a lot happier with their card and recommend it to others, and also be more likely to upgrade cards as well. All right, so next question.
What is the status of spending power? Will we be able to use our staked CRO?
So we're rolling it out in Q2 in Canada first, and then gradually we'll roll it out into other markets to make sure it's got global coverage. For the time being, the staked CRO is not a part of the product, but we are considering enabling it as well.
Okay.
So basically what she meant, if you don't understand what she meant by the spending power on your staked CRO, basically that question is just saying, like, for example, I have 100,000 CRO staked for the Icy White. So how much of that staked CRO will I be able to use on the card as a way for like collateralized lending or whatever? So like basically they're going to add an option to where you'll have a spending power depending on how much crypto you have in your wallet. And spending power is basically just a way to use your crypto but not actually sell it. So it's a way to like borrow. You'd have to get into like crypto loans and collateralization and kind of get into understanding of that to kind of understand what spending power exactly is. All right, so this next one is actually pretty exciting. It's about Crypto.com debit card benefits and things like that. So I'm just going to go straight into it and then I'll kind of tell you guys about it.
Talking about benefits, are there any plans to offer 100% rebate on Disney Plus as an option apart from Netflix? Could we consider giving users perhaps the choice between the two?
Yeah, I think this is actually a very good idea too. I mean, they've got a tremendous amount of fantastic content in Disney Plus, right? So I think we will consider exploring this at maybe Q3, Q4 this year. We're continuously looking at additional benefits, and this seems like a good one.
So it sounds like you still won't have a choice necessarily to be able to choose literally anything you want, but you know, something like a streaming service. So whether it's Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, or just like a certain like TV kind of movie subscription where you can like watch content. So kind of something similar, a streaming service, I guess. But it doesn't sound like you'll be able to, like, for example, if you have the Ruby Red and you don't use Spotify, I don't think you'd be able to get Amazon Prime. I don't think they're going to do something like that, because I think they still want to have a way to basically incentivize people to move up a tier of card. So for example, if you don't use Spotify, I don't think they're going to let you use Netflix. Although they might let you, instead of using Spotify, they might have like a different music streaming service, whether it's like Apple Music or I don't know, something that just plays music basically. Maybe it's also great to hear that he said that we're continuously looking at additional benefits, and this seems like a good one. So it's good to hear they're looking at additional benefits for the card, especially an Obsidian Black. That card holder should definitely get a bit more perks, and possibly the Icy White, but yeah, that one's more debatable. But Obsidian, pretty much everyone says, should get some better perks.
Okay, 28 days seems like a long time for the CRO chain unbonding period. Will it be revised down?
I think this is just the initial setup for the first phase post-launch, and we will revise it down as the number of CR stake and number of validated grows and the security of the network increases. We will just tone it down a little bit, more in line with what the community would expect.
So at like maximum, I'm going to say 21 days they'll lower it down to. I heard they were trying to pass that on chain, but I don't think it did. So that actually sounds like a pretty good answer, because currently it's 28 days, and if they reduce it, that's going to be pretty crazy. There's 1.64 billion CRO delegated, and there's a total supply of 30 billion, so it's basically almost going to be 2/30 billion of CRO staked. We're getting closer to 2 billion. And once, you know, the network becomes more secure and everything, it's going to be quite insane when it lowers from 28 days to, like, you know, what if it's 3 days or 21 days? Because some people are not staking on chain because of the 28-day unbonding period, and they might say that's just too risky to wait that long, and to change validators, that's just too crazy, and they rather just not stake right now. It's good to hear that it's on the roadmap to lower the 28 days to a lower amount once things kind of get more set in stone a bit. So the next question is about DeFi Wallet as well, so we'll go into that.
Okay. In the DeFi Wallet app, can we expect to freely choose the validator?
Yeah, I mean, this is coming this month.
You guys hear that? This month, choosing your own validator coming in April. That's really crazy news, really bullish. One thing that a lot of people have been saying is that the CRO chain is a bit centralized. Technically, it's fully decentralized. Well, I mean, I guess literally, but then technically it's not, because the top 10 validators, well, it looks like the top 9 now. As we can see, the top 9 nodes are all owned by Crypto.com, and so they have the highest amount of voting power. So, and what voting power does is you basically get to choose what happens on chain. So once we're able to choose our own validators on the DeFi wallet, that's going to be a big change. And especially if they lower the 28 days, and then we're also able to change validators, it's just going to make it a lot easier for people to decide to change validators to a non-crypto.com node. I really want to change validators, but if I have to wait 28 days to unstake to then redelegate to another validator, then I might not do it, just because that's a long time to not get any like interest rewards, which kind of incentivizes me to stay with this like centralized node in a sense, because it's owned by Crypto.com. Although, as they did say, plans to make the 28-day unbonding period a lot shorter once things are more set in stone. And once that happens, and you can also freely choose your validator, then I definitely plan to change it. If I just have to wait like a week or 3 days, I'll even go for 2 weeks with no interest. That's fine. I'll cut it down in half at least, compared to 28 days being like a full month. So I'll definitely change validators then, just to make the network more decentralized. And you guys should think about that too. Once the 28-day unbonding period is lowered, and you can also freely choose your validator on the DeFi wallet, I highly recommend you change your validator node and make sure it's not New Shepherd, Falcon 9, or like any of these like top 9 people, just so the network is more decentralized. And it makes other people look at this project in a better way. Like, they'll be more bullish on it if they see that it's, more and more decentralized. The more decentralized it is, the better it is. And people are more likely to buy CRO and stake on chain and do more things with it and be more bullish on it if they see that it's a more fair game in voting power. And another thing is that there's going to be native USDC on CRO network, as talked about earlier. So that's pretty exciting. And now on to talks about customer service. A lot of you guys are probably wondering about this, and especially if you're not having that great of customer service.
May we have an update on the upscaling of customer services?
Right. So we've dramatically increased the number of agents that we have in terms of as part of our staff. You can think about it, as more than 2x comparing to where we were beginning of the year, and we continue to scale it.
So my expectation is that within the next 7 to 14 days, it's
See, I think that's a meme, so don't actually expect 7 to 14 days. He laughed about it, and it's a whole meme about your card will arrive in 7 to 14 days, and their timeline is always 7 to 14 days for like everything. So don't take that literal. He was laughing. I'm pretty sure that's just his meme, that everyone knows. So
backlog is going to disappear completely, and you will get answers to your question of minutes and hours and not days. So this is a very critical improvement for us, and I think the team has been doing a great job given the enormous amount of traffic that we are seeing. So on this front, I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel here, and it's kind of the final push to clear it up.
Okay. Yeah, I do.
So that's pretty good news about customer support with Crypto.com, because that's one of the issues that a lot of people are having, where it makes them really mad at Crypto.com and start spewing hate on Reddit and flooding everywhere, even though you have to realize that they're just so backlogged. You have to realize, like, if you are new to Crypto.com and you're having issues from their customer support, you have to realize that you're joining during a bull run, and there's no way to really scale humans. You just can't. So the next thing discussed was basically just in Q2, fiat pairs and much more are going to be happening for the exchange, like UI, UX, and a bunch of other like interface changes. And basically the exchange is going to be a lot better in Q2. They have lots of plans to make the exchange better. And that's great news for the United States, because when it does launch for the United States, it's going to be already like a lot more improved. Another thing that was really great news to hear is that NFTs are burned if they're not sold out. So for example, I have the Snoop Doge coins, and there was 5,000 editions, but they didn't sell out. So there's actually a lot less than 5,000. And Chris Marszalek did say it currently does not display this, but they are being burned if they're not bought up. The one negative thing that I see is that even though they're burned and now there's only ones that people own, yeah, that technically means even less than 5,000 additions, but you have to realize first, 5,000 people didn't even want the NFT. So if it didn't sell out, yeah, it burns them, but that still means that there's not anyone wanting to buy like another NFT of it. So, I mean, it's kind of like you just have to look at it in 2 different ways like that. Next question was also about Crypto.com NFT page, and it had to do with CRO holders. So currently there's no benefits for CRO holders to buy NFTs, and Chris Marzluck did say there will be benefits. So I don't really know what exactly this means, whether or not it's going to be hold a certain amount of CRO and get like a discount on your NFT you purchase. But I personally think it might be a Crypto.com pay kind of feature where, you know, if you have 10,000 or more CRO staked either on the card or on Earn, you actually get like double the amount of cash back on Crypto.com pay for things that are eligible for it. For like gift cards, and you buy something that's like 1% back, it'll be like double the 2% cash back paid in CRO. So I'm thinking they're probably going to add a feature where you just get cash back paid in CRO if you use Crypto.com pay on Crypto.com NFT. I was actually surprised to see there was no actual cash back for it on Crypto.com pay for Crypto.com NFTs. This question has been discussed a lot lately. It's basically just talking about the price not looking correct on the Crypto.com app. We're asking why does the price look inflated on their app for CRO, and they went into the discussion and talked about how it has to do with like the kimchi exchange or something. And they said they're gonna make it to where people who like live in the United States or Canada, the UK, they won't have to worry about kimchi premiums or anything like that. So as of right now, how they're finding the CRO like price overall, they're going to change it for different markets. So then, you know, if you're only in that country, you only have to worry about like your own stuff. And then each country just has to worry about their own things. So I guess I'll play this for a little bit.
Brilliant.
Prices between different exchanges, and of course, Korean market. It's just a gigantic piece of this industry.
So it's the Korean market that made the prices inflated.
And the fact that there was
The kimchi premium affected the average price of a few coins. And you know,
And one of them was
see,
zero.
yesterday the premium kind of collapsed. It's related to the fiat in and out capability of the largest exchange in Korea.
But anyways, you guys can watch the AMA and everything for more details on that. Phase 2, I'm really excited for. That's probably going to happen in like June or July for the EVM for getting projects on chain. So I think it will be a few months before projects start being developed on chain, probably this summer. So don't expect anything too soon. This is a long game. Do not just buy up CRO expecting it to like 5x or 20x right away. Like, you have to take your time with this. This is a long-term well project. It's, you know, got great fundamentals. They're building everything. They're doing a lot of amazing things. And I mean, it's becoming more and more clear how bullish the CRO and Crypto.com is in general with everything they're doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys later in my next video.